Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to Chef Vic Cuisine. Today we are making a beef Wellington. Now I definitely wanted to save this recipe for my 5th cookbook, Mastering Your Inner Chef. I've always been heavily inspired by Gordon Ramsay and his signature dish. I can't wait to show you guys how to make this. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so let's dive into this recipe. There are a few steps into making a beef Wellington. We're going to start with creating the chive crepes. And with that, in a large bowl, we want to add in 2 large eggs, 1 cup's worth of whole milk, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon's worth of freshly chopped chives, 1 teaspoon of freshly chopped thyme, and a generous pinch of sea salt. Whisking all those ingredients together until they're well combined. We're going to place this bowl in the fridge to rest and chill for at least 30 minutes. While that's chilling, we're going to make our mushroom duxelles. And in a medium-sized saucepan, we're going to add in 3 tablespoons worth of olive oil set over medium-high heat, or 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or 190 degrees Celsius. We're going to add 3 cloves of garlic minced into the pan and saute those for about a minute or until they become fragrant. After that, you want to add in our diced mushrooms, and for this we're going to use 2 portobello mushrooms that have been finely diced, and that should make about 4 cups worth. You also want to season the mushrooms with a generous layer of salt and black pepper. You want to stir the mushrooms often until they reduce and the moisture evaporates. This should take about 10 minutes. Following that, you want to add in 3 tablespoons worth of your favorite bourbon whiskey, as well as 1 teaspoon's worth of freshly chopped thyme. You want to continue to cook this until all the whiskey has evaporated. You want to remove this from the heat and allow it to cool. Now, after the chilling of our crepe mix is done, you want to spray a large frying pan with a non-stick cooking spray, and you want to set this over low heat, or 225 degrees Fahrenheit, or 170 degrees Celsius. You want to add a 1/4 cup's worth of the crepe batter to the pan, and then swirl the pan so the batter evenly spreads over the cooking surface, creating the crepe. Allow this to cook initially for 30 to 35 seconds, or until the bottom initially sets. Use a crepe spatula or offset spatula to flip the crepe and cook the other side for a few seconds until it's set. Then you want to transfer the crepe to a plate. You want to move somewhat quickly as you don't want to spray to brown the rest of the crepes, so continue adding a 1/4 cup's worth of the crepe batter to the pan at a time. You should be able to make 5 crepes with this recipe. To prevent the crepes from sticking to one another, you can always add a piece of parchment paper between each crepe on the plate. Now we're going to move on to searing our beef tenderloin. The star of our dish, we're going to need a 1 pound's worth of a center cut beef tenderloin that's at room temperature. You want to season the tenderloin liberally with salt and black pepper on all sides of it, pressing the seasoning into the meat. You want to roll and gently shape the beef into a cylinder if it's not already done. And now in a large frying pan or skillet set over medium-high heat, or 375 degrees Fahrenheit, or 190 degrees Celsius, you want to add in 1 tablespoon's worth of grapeseed oil. Once the oil is hot, you want to add in the beef and then sear it for 1 minute on each side until it's all browned evenly. You want to remove this from the pan and place the tenderloin on a plate or a baking sheet, and you can pour on any of the juices, if any, from the pan over the tenderloin as well to keep it juicy. While it's still hot, you want to brush on 1 to 2 tablespoons worth of Dijon mustard all over the tenderloin and allow it to rest for now. Next up, we're going to assemble the beef Wellington. And you want to use a wet paper towel to dampen a large cutting board. And then you want to place 3 layers of plastic wrap over the surface of that cutting board. We're going to use 2 to 3 of the chive pancakes and optionally trim them into squares that match the length of the tenderloin. You want to line them vertically onto the plastic wrap. And then you want to add on 4 to 5 slices of prosciutto on top of the crepes, and then spread the mushroom duxelles over the prosciutto. Add a few dashes of salt and a thin sprinkling of black pepper over the mushroom duxelles again. Pour any of the resting juices from the tenderloin over the duxelles, and then you want to place the tenderloin at the bottom edge of the lower crepe. Use the plastic wrap to lift and pull the crepe over the tenderloin, rolling the beef up completely, and then twisting the ends of the package to make it tight and smooth. You want to transfer this to the fridge and refrigerate this for 20 minutes. And now on to cooking our beef Wellington. You want to preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit or 232 degrees Celsius. You want to dampen your cutting board again to allow the plastic wrap to easily move. You want to add another 3 layers of plastic wrap over the cutting board. You want to place room temperature puff pastry, and for this recipe you're going to need 2 9.6 ounce sheets of puff pastry thawed to room temperature. You want to place those onto the center of your cutting board. You want to use a rolling pin to roll the pastry out to approximately an 1/8 inch thick, and optionally you can also trim it so that it fits the length of the tenderloin. You also want to whisk 2 egg yolks to create an egg wash. We're going to brush the puff pastry with some of the egg wash and then add a thin layer of fine sea salt and black pepper over the pastry. You want to unwrap the tenderloin from the plastic wrapping and place it onto the pastry, about a 1/3 way up the puff pastry. Lift the plastic wrap up, thus rolling the puff pastry over the tenderloin, and then continue rolling and pulling the pastry over the tenderloin until the edges of the pastry meet. You want to twist the plastic to tighten and smooth the pastry over the tenderloin. The pastry edges should melt together as well. This creates the beef Wellington. You want to unwrap the beef Wellington from the plastic wrap and then smooth out the ends, and you can trim off any excess pastry that falls off the edges. You just want to make sure you have closed sides on every corner of the beef Wellington. You can apply more egg wash to the puff pastry. You can also add another textured layer of puff pastry using a lattice pattern cutter pastry knife, or you can use a sharp knife to score the top of the puff pastry to create a decorative pattern instead. If you're using another layer of lattice puff pastry, you want to brush a light layer of egg wash on this layer as well. Sprinkle on some flaky sea salt to the beef Wellington, and then place this on a parchment paper lined baking sheet, and optionally you can insert a sprig of thyme into the beef Wellington for some added flavor. You want to refrigerate this for 5 minutes to allow it to set. And after that, you want to transfer this to the oven and bake it for 18 to 20 minutes, or until the puff pastry turns golden brown. And while the beef Wellington's baking, we want to prepare our demi-glaze sauce. In a medium-sized saucepan, you want to heat 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil and heat this over medium heat, or 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. We're also going to add in 1 diced shallot and cook this for 5 minutes or until they become fragrant and softened. You also want to add in 1 cup's worth of red wine, preferably a Cabernet Sauvignon, and increase the heat to medium-high or 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 190 degrees Celsius, and allow this to cook and reduce the wine by about half its volume. This should take about 3 to 5 minutes at that heat. We're also going to add in half a cup's worth of beef broth and allow this to cook for another 5 minutes. You then want to strain your sauce through a fine mesh sieve to remove all the solids, and you can discard the solids at this time. You then want to return the sauce to the pan set over medium heat or 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 176 degrees Celsius. We're going to then start adding in dices of cold butter. For this recipe, we're going to need a total of 4 tablespoons worth of unsalted butter that's freezer cold, 1 tablespoon at a time to the sauce, not adding another tablespoon until the previous one has melted and incorporated. You want to season this to your own personal taste using salt and black pepper, and the final consistency of the sauce should be slightly thick and shiny. You want to transfer your demi-glaze sauce to a serving dish. And now for serving the beef Wellington, once the beef Wellington has baked and turned golden brown, you want to remove it from the oven and allow it to rest for 5 to 10 minutes before we slice into it. This can be served alongside your red wine demi-glaze, and with that final step, it's ready to be served and enjoyed. Congrats, you've made a 5-star dish right at home. For perfectly cooked beef, you always want to use a meat thermometer to ensure the internal temperature reaches your desired level of doneness. Medium rare is typically around 130 to 135 degrees Fahrenheit or 54 to 57 degrees Celsius, which is the common doneness for a beef Wellington. But slicing into this, you can see the several layers it takes to make a beef Wellington. All those flavors combined create one amazing dish. I cannot wait for you guys to try this. Let me know how it turns out for you by tagging me at Chef Vic Cuisine or hashtag Chef Vic Cuisine so I can see your great takes on this dish. As always, this recipe and many more can be found in my cookbook, Chef Vic Cuisine Volume 5, Mastering Your Inner Chef. And that's available on Amazon, and I'll be sure to leave a link to that in my description box. And feel free to click the pop-up on your screen for more information on that as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed learning how to make this dish. And if you did, make sure you smash that like button for me. It's one of the best ways to show support for the channel. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button too to not miss out on any new recipes. And sharing is caring, so if you enjoyed this recipe and think someone else will too, feel free to share this with all your family and friends. And stay tuned for next week where I show you how to make an awesome, really easy dessert, my grasshopper torte. You don't want to miss that one. Well, thanks again for watching. I truly do appreciate it. You can always check out more videos on my page now. YouTube thinks you'll like these videos, so let's see if they're right. And I'll catch you next time on another episode of Chef Vic Cuisine. And until then, peace.